So you have just secured your first ever DJ gig, whether it be a bar, a nightclub, a restaurant, or a private client. You are the DJ that has been booked. Well done, first and foremost. Congratulations to you. I know it can be very, very difficult, especially when you are starting out, to get booked. So you have overcome one of the major hurdles of being a DJ. And in this video, I'm going to cover off my top tips to ensure that you repeat those bookings. This is my guide on how to not mess up your first ever DJ gig. So for your first ever DJ gig then, top tip number one is to plan ahead and to find out as much as possible ahead of the event or gig taking place. The venue itself, if it is in a town, city, or a location that you are unfamiliar with, make sure you plan out a route to get to the venue. There is nothing worse than turning up to a gig flustered, stressed because you couldn't find it, and it could also potentially make you late. So just type it into Google Maps, know where you are going. Number two, in planning ahead, what are the parking arrangements? If you're in a bar or a nightclub and you're finishing late into the morning, make sure that you can find some parking nearby. I personally don't really like walking long distances at 3-4 o'clock in the morning back to my car, especially when it's dark out and there's sort of drunk people around. I'm not a big fan of it. So try and find some parking nearby, or at least work out where is the best place to park. If you are a mobile or a corporate DJ, work out what the parking arrangements are for you too. If you are having to lug lots of equipment to and from the car or the van, that's going to be an absolute nightmare in terms of setting up for you, and it's going to add to your setup time, and potentially it's just going to tire you out before you even start performing as a DJ. So just make sure you know what the parking arrangements are and what to expect. Number three, if you are a nightclub DJ, how many rooms does the nightclub have and what other music policies are being played in the other rooms? This will give you an idea of how to steer your set, or just get an idea of what you are being expected to play. Number four in planning ahead is knowing your set time. If, for example, you're booked at a nightclub and you're playing from 10 p.m. till 3 o'clock in the morning, that's pretty common here in the UK, especially on the high street. Do not rock up to the venue at 5 to 10. It's really, really unprofessional. You want to get there a little bit in advance because you want to get a look and feel of the venue, maybe meet some of the team, say hello to the manager, but also it will give you an opportunity to make sure that everything is working as it should do for your set. There is nothing worse that the nightclub is opening and you can't work out how to get the sound to come out of the sound system because, you know, something's gone wrong, or one of the CDJs that they've supplied is broken and they can't do anything about it. Turning up early just means that it gives you some headroom. It enables you to really kind of get settled in so that you can focus on being the DJ. Number five, getting paid. Make sure that you agree everything up front and also know how you are getting paid. Are you invoicing the venue afterwards? Are they expecting you to bring a paper invoice and then they're going to give you some cash at the end of the night? I know that's not very common in this day and age, but it certainly used to be common practice, especially here in the UK. And also, what are the payment terms? Are you getting paid next week? Are you getting paid in a month's time? All of that kind of stuff. Try and iron all of this stuff out up front ahead of the gig so that when you turn up to the venue, you can be focused on just being the DJ, and that is it. Okay, so you know everything there is to know about the gig before you've gone. You know how you're getting there, you know where the venue is, you know where you are parking, you know what your set time is, you know how you're getting paid, you know that there's multiple rooms and you're playing this particular genre of music. You know all of that stuff. Step two is preparing your music, and I would say have more music than you think you are going to need. There is nothing worse than, say you're booked to play for a 2-hour set, you download what you think is 2 hours worth of music that is going to go off, and at 1 hour 45, because you've mixed them so quickly, you have run out of music. Nothing worse. So have more tracks than you think you are going to need, and also try and have different styles of music within genres. Let me explain what I mean there, because I've probably made that sound really complicated. Say you're playing a dance music led room, a house music room. Have some tech house, have some disco house, have some club classics, have some vocal house. I would say have a broad spectrum of music, because even if you're playing like a dance music led room, there is nothing worse than turning up with only tech house and say, for example, like the crowd on the night don't like tech house. They like house music, but they don't like tech house because it's boring or whatever. You've got nowhere to go. And then the manager looks at it and thinks, why is my dance floor empty? Because this DJ can't seem to fill it with the music, even though it's, you know, you're kind of on policy, but you're not playing the right stuff within the policy. Like, I'll take my Friday night as an example. Some nights I can go really underground, play minimal vocals, and it's brilliant. Other times I have to go very, very commercial and play house music still, but I have to keep it fairly familiar to the crowd because that is what they like. So just make sure that you have enough variance so that you can swap things out when you're reading the crowd if things don't go the way that you plan them to be. Top tip number 3, and that is keeping things professional. Turn up to the venue by yourself, not with all of your mates that want to come and see you for your first DJ set. Now, DJing is one of the best jobs in the world, and I am pretty certain that if you've landed your first ever gig and it's in a nightclub or something like that, that your mates are going to want to come and support you. And that is absolutely brilliant. And I also think that's absolutely fine. But if you want to create a good first impression for that first night, while you are still building the relationship with the manager, the team, the promoter, get your mates to come and support you, but just ask them to pay for entry. And if they are real mates, they will do that and support you in the most professional way possible. I have seen it so many times where newbie DJs come along to their first gig and they bring like 20 of their mates, and it just creates a really bad first impression. You know, or they're ringing up the manager asking for 10 guest lists and a VIP booth and all the rest of it, and they expect it all for free. That can happen. I'm not saying it can't, but you need to build a solid relationship with the management team or the promoter or whoever's booking you first before you do that. Don't do that straight off the bat if you want to get booked again. Mates are fine, they can come and support you, but keep it professional and ask them to just pay as normal customers for at least the first few nights. And then my final piece of advice for you on this topic on your first gig is do not turn up to the venue drunk and do not drink on the job. Yes, I get it, DJing, especially if it is your first gig, can be very nerve-wracking. And the DJing nightclub entertainment industry is one of those industries where the lines can be blurred, especially as a DJ. But for your first ever gig, certainly don't turn up under the influence and do not drink on the job. I have had gigs where I've been allowed a few drinks, absolutely. However, those are the gigs where I have got very well established relationships with the management or the person that has booked me, and that will come over time. And I would still say that 98% of all the gigs I do completely sober. I do not drink. It's certainly not a regular thing for me, so just bear that in mind. Hope you found this video useful. Please do give me a thumbs up. If you are booked to play out on your first ever gig and want to ask me any other questions, let me know in the comments down below. Please do subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I will see you in the next video.